There's a lot of things about money and things about the financial world that I know now at 41 years old that I wish I knew at 21. So I'm going to share a lot of those things with you today. Both of my parents were bad with money, and there's a lot of things that would have been helpful to know when I started out on my own, but as they didn't know, obviously they didn't know to tell me. And information wasn't as readily available as it is today. But I'm going to show you a few things, simple things, that will get you a big head start. So by the time you reach my age, you'll be good. Because I'm good now, but I had to play the catch-up game. So, number one, stay away from debt like the plague. I know I might sound like Dave Ramsey talking like that, but if you can't buy it with cash, you don't need it. Debt is a very terrible thing to get used to being in. And once you have the money, instead of making credit card payments, making payments to your own savings account and paying cash for whatever you want, it will make a big difference. I remember one time I was playing this game, and it was one of those mobile games where you can spend a lot of money, and I did spend quite a bit of money in that game. But I made a statement to somebody when we was talking, how I never used my credit card to make any purchases. I said, because I don't like buying things with money that's not mine. And she was like, how is that not your money? I was like, if it was your money, why do you have to pay it back with horrendous interest? So stay away from that. Number two, get in the habit of saving and investing. I guess number 2A is always keep a couple thousand cash. A lot of people say have a baseline of 1,000, but really 2,000 cash will take care of any type of short-term emergency you probably will have. Most of the time, if you need something with cash, you're in good health, you got the basic car and all that kind of stuff. 2,000 cash will take care of any basic emergency you have. Then you kind of, whatever your emergency fund is, would just be based on your situation. But like, if you have a steady situation and good base and support system, then 5 or 10K or whatever makes you feel comfortable is a good number. And then I guess 2B, start investing as soon as possible. The best time to start is today. This is something that I wish I knew. If you have a job with a 401k, then make sure you're getting your full match. If you max that and you have some money left over, because that's the first step, getting that match. Money's tight. When you start up working, you're going to be broke. Because even with some diligence, you're probably going to make dumb decisions because you're young and you want things now. You want the life of a 45-year-old right now. So you're probably going to party and have fun, and especially if you're good and you have, cash, saved up, you'll be more comfortable making purchases, most likely. So as long as you're getting, 10% or so in your 401k, or at least getting your match, that's a good start to start you out of. But I'm going to tell you about the Roth IRA real quick. Right now, it's a $7,000 a year limit to contribute to your Roth. And I know that maxing that is might seem daunting, to squeeze $7,000 out of your budget. But let me tell you something. If you do this, if you're 21, max out your Roth IRA for 4 years straight, so about 25, you have put $28,000 on your own money in the Roth IRA. invest it in the S&P 500. In S&P, like, you can do an index fund, but ETF is even simpler. That's what I do personally. You put it in an S&P 500 ETF, which is an exchange traded fund. For those who don't know what that is, it's an index fund that trades like a stock essentially. Put that $28,000 in a S&P 500 index fund or ETF. The 10-year average, this past 10 years is averaged over 15%. When you check it right now, it's averaged over 15% for the past 10 years. But let's say it doesn't even do that well. Let's say that going forward, it does 11%. Calculating $28,000 from the time you're 25 to the time that you can withdraw it, tax-free, by the way, putting $28,000 of your own money and not adding a dime more, you'll have over $1 million by the time you retire. That's squeezing $28,000 in there. You'll have over $1 million. That's calculating at 11%. And like I said, the S&P 500 has averaged over 15% over the past 10 years. That is so important. But like if you can squeeze 7,000 by the time you're 25, but that time matters. Compounding matters, because like if you wait 5 years, that number goes down significantly. It's crazy, the drop off. Like, you'll be missing out on a couple of extra $100,000 just by starting 5 years later. You'll be playing the catch-up game like me. I'm having to max that bad boy every year just to have close to the same amount by the time I'm 59 and a half. But so getting in the habit of saving a little and investing a little out of every check is so important. Even if you don't, I know maxing sounds daunting, like $7,000 a year might seem daunting, but even if you get in the habit of just putting $25 aside, just $25 into savings and investing, put it into, even if you just do a personal brokerage account in something, you will get in the habit and you'll get used to seeing your money making money. And it starts small, but I'm trying to tell you, there's nothing better than seeing that the stock market rose 1% that day, but that 1% between your accounts equals 4 or 5 figures. That is a crazy feeling. Those 3 things: staying away from debt, getting a little emergency fund, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, and start saving and investing into your 401k and Roth IRA, and get in the habit of saving and investment. Just those things will make you so far ahead of the game by the time you get my age. Matter of fact, if I saved and invest now, when I started working, I would probably be done working in 4 more years. Like at 45, I'd be done. It's that powerful. I did some math. I did some very conservative math, because whenever I'm doing calculations, I always go a couple of percent. I always do at least 2% less than what it's doing now for averages. So, like, conservatively speaking, I'd be finished working now in a very good position. And I hope that you're in a better position when you reach my age than I am now, even though I'm pretty decent right now. Anyway, I hope this helps. You have a good one. Uncle Step Bro out.